So why did you want this game?
Um, it's I'm not 100% sure what I'm looking for, what I'm missing. I know that my cooldown tracking is pretty bad, but it has to be something systemic that I keep constantly failing since I keep constantly losing games no matter if I'm ahead or behind. So it must be something that I fail in pretty much every game. I don't really know if I don't really have an impact or something like that. Not sure. Probably something around roaming.
You think you're bad at roaming?
Um, um, I lack roaming completely, and I keep going even in lane at best, losing lane at worst. That Garen game is a good example because it's like he has Ignite. I could never really solo kill him. I was pretty much afraid of hard pushing, and at some point he had complete pressure, and I couldn't really do much but sit on the tower and lose the game.
Okay, so going into this game, the stuff I have on the sticky note, can you see it?
Yeah.
This is the stuff you're worried about going into this?
Um, That's the stuff that I think I'm looking for when I look at this game and see what I did wrong, I guess.
Okay, let's watch the game then. We're gonna watch it one time really quick on double speed, and then we said it was a short game. Oh, it's like 30 minutes, whatever. Uh, but we'll watch it at
Yeah,
double speed, and we'll talk about the things after. One thing I can't see about what you're doing here. One second.
is camera movement and stuff.
Yeah, I can't see camera movement. I can't see any of that.
My laptop is currently that bad that I can only play the game at 720p, and if I try to record something during playing, I guess it's
30
unplayable.
seconds until minions
That's
spawn.
why I have to keep with such things like Dr. Offer.
Okay, so already you're wasting time here.
Minions have spawned.
But I'm just gonna write it down. We'll talk about it after the game. Give me like 30 seconds. I need to get a notepad because I can't type when I'm
Yeah,
have the client open like it.
yeah.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Favors the versatile. Complacency breeds death. A lady never dirties her hands. Precision is the only standard that matters. Looks like I missed a spot. Patience. A professional is marked by sharp blade quickens the work. A lady never dirties her hands. Precision is the only standard that matters. Patience is an illusion. It is a virtue. And those hands. Patience is an virtue. It is a virtue. Your actions. Looks like I missed a spot. The trick is to get out and the trick is to get out and killing. Then you have failed.
What do you have? Stop.
Patience is what separates two monsters from good ones. Second guess yourself. You will still remain. Only cowards run. And the wrong side.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed. Red team has slain the dragon.
My side and the wrong side.
Shut down. Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
A lady never dirties her hands.
Blue team. Dominating.
marked by precision.
Death.
Okay. You still here?
X the banana.
Huh?
You here?
Yeah,
Okay, so I have a bunch of notes.
I figured.
Right here, you could be standing. Well, I mean, you're not really doing anything right here. And I'm honestly kind of lazy about this sometimes too. But what you should be doing is either watching this guy's buff, right? So standing right here, or scouting the enemy area like right there, trying to see if they're starting topside. Sometimes they do. Just try and get information for your team. Does that make sense? Like just starting off the game, you're not even letting your jungler know, is his buff getting cheesed by Master Yi, you know? You're not letting your team know, is Master Yi starting red, because if you don't see him over here, that means he's over here, right? And it's kind of likely that he's over there because pretty much a lot of junglers just like to start with their bot side. It kind of depends. I know over in Korea, a lot of people like getting their top laner to leash. I don't know how it is in EU West, but generally a jungler start on a certain area. Do you know which that is?
In US, it's generally bot side. It's pretty rare that jungler, especially in plat, try to cheese buffs or try to do the top bot gank route. It's usually just blue buffs wolf red into top lane
Yeah.
at 3
Okay.
minutes.
So their support and their AD carry will leash them their first buff, then they'll do wolves, then they'll do red, then they'll look to gank, right? So what you should be doing here, at the very least, is standing somewhere around this area. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's going to be a very easy thing to change. If you just do that, you're going to win more games because sometimes you'll find the enemy trying to choose your buff, and you're going to scare them off, and it's going to do stuff for you. Or if you don't see them over here, like you walked into here, you don't see them over there, you can move into the river, see if they're trying to do anything sneaky, or get some information on this buff, right?
Yeah.
Before you, and that's all something you can do before minions even spawn. That is okay, and then right about here, let's watch the first wave. You had the wave pushing to him instead of pulling to you. Okay. So looking at this, it's going to be pushing to you, right? Because he had 3 minions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I wrote here, you took Q level 2.
Yep.
You should be taking E every time.
Okay.
The reason is... Goodness, that is loud. Is that noise? Okay, the reason is... There'll be times... So for instance, the jungler... Your Nidalee's going to finish her clear at somewhere around... oh god, she's clearing really slow. But generally, she'll clear... It's kind of variable with a Nidalee, but let's just say Master Yi because there's no way you can screw up the clear here. Master Yi is going to finish his clear around 2 minutes, 35 seconds or something. So he should be up here at around like 250, 3 minutes if he's going to gank top. So at that time, you're still going to be level 2. The jungler's going to be level 3. Garen's going to be level 2. So in the situations where you don't hit 3 before the jungler ganks, you're going to want to have your E instead of your Q, right? At level 2. because that's going to help you either get away from the gank, or in the case where Nidalee's like coming to gank, or it's going to be a 2v2 in top lane, having your E is just a more impactful ability because it has hard CC as well as the attack speed steroid, or the ability for you to run away. So you need to be taking that level 2 every time. Then at 4 minutes 15 seconds, you traded onto Garen when he had a bigger minion wave than you. Look at all of his minions here. And you just walk straight into him and take the trade. Look at how much damage from the minions you took. And you keep doing trades like that. Like at 5 minutes 15 seconds, roughly, you trade into when he has a bigger wave than you. You just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's not loading. Goodness. It might have frozen or crashed or something. I may just reopen it. It looks like it's frozen. But basically, you just did the same thing. You took like 3 or 4 trades when he had a lot of minions over you, and that really made it to where they would have been good trades if the minions were even or you had more minions than him. But you just don't want to do that because, like early on, especially, you guys don't have many items. He has a Doran shield. You have a
Yeah, the reason I took the trade was basically because I had more items, but I see that was still retarded.
Okay, I'm just gonna relaunch the thing. Okay. Oh, and as well as you got the way of pushing to him, and then you just recalled. That was pretty bad. What you should have done.
The wave crashed.
What you should have done at about like right here, you have it pushing into him, right? And then let's see what you do. Let's turn the fog of war off. Or on. So instead of recalling, what you should have been doing is walking into here. See, you should have been walking into this tri-bush, getting information for your team on Master Yi. Master Yi, likely, if he was going to gank, he would have been in this bush or around here already ganking you while you were right there because you walked up there at around 3 minutes 20 seconds. So that was the baddest spot for you to be in. And then at 4 minutes 15 seconds, you exposed yourself to a gank by using your E forward. See, it wasn't because you did. Sorry, because you did this. Where is it? Because you walked up and E'd him like this. For instance, if Master Yi was in this bush right here, when you did that, you would have died, and you didn't know he was over here. You had no information. So just imagine the Master Yi does this gank like 4 seconds earlier. You die, or you burn your flash. Like, you see your hook shot's still on 3-second cooldown. And it's kind of lucky, but, you know. He could have been there earlier. 5:15. Damn it.
Yes.
5:15, you traded on the minions again. At 7 minutes 4 seconds, you broke a permafreeze that you could have had. So you basically gave up a 500 gold lead that you could have taken by breaking the permanent freeze at 7 minutes. Let's look. Yeah, just before this. Look at this. You can freeze with this, right?
Yeah, I actually...
And you pull up and walk into this bush and let all of them go into the tower.
Yeah, I fucked up there.
Yeah.
That freeze would have been 500 gold.
Yeah, and quite a bit of experience, roughly. depending on how well you maintained it. I generally get about 500 gold lead off of a freeze like that.
I would have given that freeze. I would have lost the.
Yeah, and then you push it back into him.
Yeah, it was
And
like.
when you push like this, you either have to look for a roam or looking to go into the enemy jungle to get vision while this guy's occupied doing the minions. So right here, you gave him a freeze. If he wanted to, he could permanently lock the lane right here because you gave him 4 healthy minions right there that stacked up with theirs. So yeah, you're doing the right thing here where you push it in as fast as possible so he can't freeze. But I don't think you're actively thinking about this when you're laning the wave management. And you should have roamed down here a lot faster. This was yeah, like 750. You didn't collapse on the Master Yi nearly fast enough. Slope here. The Master Yi, he showed in your jungle on a ward right here. You should have immediately walked down here. You should have pinged all my way, immediately walked down here.
Yeah.
Like, when did you first see him? Okay. Okay, so you saw him, and you're too slow. You should have not gone for these minions. Immediately moved down here. You could have killed Master Yi pretty easily because you have ultimate. And look how long it takes you. See, if you'd been walking all the way down, like right now, you would have definitely cut him off right here. That would have been a kill. And you would have saved Nidalee. Her flash. 930. Tower CSing is really awful. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, you can work on that. You missed like 3 minions already. You do this several times. Like I recorded like 3 different times where you just missed like 3 or 4 minions under tower that you totally could have gotten. You just need to work on doing that, using your abilities more intelligently. Then generally I see at this point in the game, or actually all game, you just use E randomly without any setup for it. Like you should be looking to slow them with your W or something before you use your E, but you just seem to throw your E randomly and try and go in at them. It just whenever, like I don't even know if there's a pattern, you just do it sometimes. It's really strange. But here, like, if you E forward here, and you don't have information in the river or in the enemy jungle, Master Yi can gank you, so you, like, if I were you here, I would save my E. If I wanted to trade onto him, it would just be with Qs and Ws. And now you see Master Yi, you know you can play aggressive. What time is it? 10? 13:20. Tower CSing is bad. Yeah, you just missed 2 minions there, and you didn't have to. 14 minutes, blind hook shot. Don't freeze, please.
You paused. No.
No, it's not paused. It's just frozen. But basically, you already didn't stomp this lane. If I were playing this game, I would have stomped this lane. This player is completely awful you're playing against.
From what I see, I traded pretty often and still never got him into any
Well, you traded
reasonable
into
killing
his
range.
minions, so you never took favorable trades. You just randomly attacked him. So you never built up a health lead that you could use to zone him with. Here, I wrote down to throw hook shot along the wall instead of at the wall. I think you use hook shot like pretty much at the wall. I know you don't see him here because you never ward this area for some reason. You should be, because I don't know how you expect to be playing forward at all when you have no information about this area. So you're gonna need to ward or walk into the river every so often to check and see if he's there. But you're not doing that. Okay, see the hook shot directly at the wall. What you should do, walk here, throw the hook shot like this. You can throw it straight, and then at the end it will latch onto the wall, and then you'll go a lot further. If he wanted, when you did that, if Master Yi wanted to, he could have just towered over you there and killed you. Like, think of if Garen and Master Yi just jumped on you after you used hook shot like that.
Yeah,
Master Yi could have just pressed R. He could have just pressed R, even flashed onto you. You would have been dead. He's
was
just
what
bad.
I actually expected.
What's up?
I actually expected them to do that. That's why I even warded behind me, because they could have even dove me now.
Yeah, of course.
Just crashed
But
the wave.
when you use E like
Yeah,
that, for sure you die against better players. Let's see. 20 minutes, 21 minutes, you die because you don't mirror the pressure of the map. Look at where you're standing. Look at where mid. Look, mid is like just barely past their T2. Bot lane just barely past their T2. You're all the way at your T1. So if you were the enemy jungler, or if you were like the enemy team, who are you going to kill? It's going to be you here.
Yeah.
And you end up dying for this, being pushed up too far. See, the entire enemy team rotated over here because they're all sitting on their T2.
Yeah. I died at that point because I was typing to Nidalee because she was taking farm, and
Yeah,
was
but you
basically
shouldn't have been standing up
fighting.
there anyways. The same thing happens at 26 minutes. You die because you don't match the positioning of your team in terms of pushing up. Right out here, you'll push up too far, like around here, and then you'll get collapsed on, because look at where you're standing compared to the rest of your team. Again, you're way at the T1, the rest of your team is back here. Where do you think the enemy team's running?
Yeah.
There they are. There's one of them, there's two, and they're all dead. Alright, you don't die here, but Nidalee does. Like, honestly, those deaths are just bad play, honestly. Yeah. And then I saw you build Titanic Hydra. I think that's a bad choice. I think you should just play better, build strong items, and then you'll do that.
I was building Titanic because I thought that was basically completely useless and I should go tanky.
Well, you did play kind of with no impact this game because you didn't take smart trades. You didn't manage the wave properly. When you had it pushing, you never left lane to get information. You didn't ward your river bush when you were going for offensive plays. And you just took bad trades, right? You want to trade when you have more minions, and you want to take freezes when you can. You just gave up every freeze you could have had this game. You could have been at 270 minions right now, and Garen could have been at 150 if you had played
I didn't
perfectly.
think I could defend any freeze against Garen.
What's up?
The part where I fucked up the freeze, as soon as Garen had showed in lane, I would give him up. I wouldn't have defended it.
Why not?
Because I didn't feel like I could outtrade Garen. So it's
What are you talking about?
If I had frozen at that point where I fucked up the minions.
But you were trading with Garen all lane. You were taking even trades. I don't understand why you think you can't fight him when your tower's right here, as opposed to when you've been fighting him right here this entire game. You can easily defend this freeze. What do? You trade 100 health for 500 gold advantage? It's like, it's not that. It's a no-brainer. You take the freeze every time.
Okay.
So, I mean, honestly, just all those little mistakes they added up, and it made you pretty much 2, 3, and 2 instead of 10 and 0. So, it might seem small, but it's really just a bunch of little mistakes that compounded into you, like, honestly, being as impactful as the enemy gold laner on the enemy team or whatever they are. So, that would be that. Do you have any questions specifically, or do you disagree about anything I said, or want to talk about any of it?
I agree, I guess.
Okay, I mean,
What I'm looking for are, I guess, those mistakes, because if I would see like anything absolutely glaring, like I don't know, completely inting, when I'm completely inting, I know where I fucked up. You know what I mean? And
what are you saying?
well, if I go like 0-9 in lane, I basically know why I lost that game. But
Yeah.
those are the mistakes, I guess, I'm looking for that we talked about right now, I guess.
Yeah, it's just honestly fundamental things that you just probably have been kind of lazy when you're playing your games and not practice them. You just got to work on your wave management, your CSing under tower, and just your CSing in general, right? Like, it seems like you can farm when the minions are off your tower, but when every time the wave gets pushed in your tower, you're going to lose like 2 minions for no reason, it seems. You can get better at that. You can get better at taking trades when you have more minions than the enemy and not when he has more minions than you. It's really not that complicated. If you just follow that kind of logic, you're going to come ahead in a lot of your games. I mean, you're picking a very strong champion, so that's not the problem. It's just the fundamentals you need to work on. About roaming, you said you felt like you didn't roam. I mean, it seemed, I don't know if you have just bad map awareness or something, but you didn't collapse on that Master Yi when he invaded your Nidalee?
I only noticed the Master Yi after Nidalee had blown her flash.
Okay,
I
well,
didn't notice him before.
you should be looking at the map, whenever you can. If you don't have to be doing anything else. If you know that a minion's not going to be less hittable for 3 seconds or something, just like look at the mini map in that time. There's not much to it. About champion ability cooldowns, honestly, just write them on a sticky note, stick them on your monitor. And once you play against, for instance, Garen like 6 times, you're going to know his cooldowns, and you won't need the sticky note anymore. But that's a way you can train yourself to memorize the cooldowns. Or if you have a second monitor or something, just open up the wiki, have it on your other monitor, the champion you're leaning against.
Yeah.
And that'll help you learn those. Other than that, I mean, the Camille mechanics aren't bad. It's just the basic things, Anything else you want to talk about?
Nope. Not really.
Okay. Sounds good then. Best of luck.